All right, let's now move on to some other news. The National Eligibility cum Entrance Test, or NEET 2024 results have been declared, but controversies have erupted once again over the decision to award grace marks to candidates and a case of possible paper leak or cheating. A day after, students and parents have raised objections over an unprecedented number of students, 67, bagging the perfect score of 720 out of 720. Parents, in their letters to the National Testing Agency, are seeking a thorough investigation into the alleged discrepancies in the results before the counselling commences. Scorecards of students scoring 718 and 719 are also being circulated on the social media, which parents claim is impossible to achieve in this paper when each NEET question carries 4 marks and 1 mark each is given for negative marking. Now, social media platform X has been flooded with comments about anomalies in the NTA's grace marks policy. Of the total students bagging full marks, 6 have seat numbers from the same sequence and are from Haryana, indicating the chance of them being from the same centre. However, the NTA has clarified that grace marks were awarded to address the loss of time faced by candidates during the NEET undergraduate 2024 exam. In their statement, they've said the loss of exam time was ascertained and such candidates were compensated with grace marks. So the candidates' marks can be 718 or 719. But what exactly is going on with NEET now? The testing agency explains that the decision to award grace marks was taken after receiving representations in court cases from NEET candidates who raised concerns about the loss of time during the exam that was held on the 5th of May. The NTA press release stated that such cases or representations were considered and the normalization formula devised and adopted by the Apex Court in its judgment on 13 June 2018 was implemented to account for the loss of time faced by the candidates. Meanwhile, NEET undergraduate candidates have raised questions about the testing agency's grace marks policy. Aspirants are saying the policy is absolutely inappropriate. An aspirant on social media questioned how a total of 67 students who were on the merit list obtained the exact same percentile, whether it was mathematically even possible, and how could grace marks be justified in deciding merit. Let's not forget the issue of paper leaks and anomalies in the NEET exam was a big issue in the run-up to the Lok Sabha polls. Then why is the National Testing Agency not addressing these issues? That's one of the many questions being asked. Another candidate has demanded a re-exam, stating that the entire NEET exam and result declaration process is faulty. Now, News 9 tried to reach out to the NTA regarding students' concerns about grace marks and paper leaks. A senior official responded by saying they have clarified their stance in their press release and that the National Testing Agency will address any issues related to the NEET exam on its official website. A total of 67 candidates have secured AIR1 in this particular NEET exam. According to the NTA press release, 11 toppers are from Rajasthan, followed by 8 from Haryana and Maharashtra. All the students secured a 99.997 percentile. But there is controversy. Of the 67 candidates who got a perfect score, 720 on 720, 44 made it to the top because they got an answer to a basic physics question wrong and received grace marks for it. The incorrect answer was based on an old class 12 NCERT science textbook reference. Now, since 2019, there haven't been more than 3 toppers in any year of NEET undergraduate, which is the single gateway for admission to all MBBS programs across the country. This year, a record 23.8 lakh students registered for NEET undergraduate, an increase from last year's 20.87 lakh registrations. As per data shared by the testing agency, almost 10 lakh boys and more than 13 lakh girls and 17 transgender candidates appeared for the exam. Of the 67 candidates with a perfect 720 score, a majority are from Rajasthan, that's 11, 8 from Tamil Nadu, 7 from Maharashtra, and then 4 each from Andhra Pradesh and Bihar. All right, to put this into perspective, we're now joined by Kapil Gupta, founder of NEETprep.com. Kapil Gupta, this isn't the first time that NEET has been, sort of overshadowed by controversies, but what do you make of the specific concerns that are being raised by the students this time around? both about paper leaks and more significantly about the grace marks that have been awarded?
So first of all, Neha, the big problem is, let's just understand what has happened. In 2022, at 700 marks, there were 60 aspirants, 700, out of 720, which is 97% of marks. Just imagine. There were 60 aspirants. In 2023, there were 300 aspirants. And this year, there are 2,000 aspirants. I personally believe, if I'm allowed to say it, if a testing agency job is to conduct a good exam, NTA has done a shoddy job, and they should come out and acknowledge that this is high quality garbage. What that means is, for a lot of aspirants who are preparing right now, my kid is in grade 10 going to grade 11 next year. NTA also conducts JEE, my kid might prepare for JEE. These kind of cutoffs, at 610, you got a government college last year. That number has jumped to 655. NTA can't say that the paper was same for everyone. They have to maintain certain quality of the test. They can't conduct a test on which, on 720 marks, you have 67 aspirants. That means even after getting full marks, you're not going to get AIMS Delhi, which is the #1 college in the country. So that is one. The quality of paper has to be addressed. But I think the bigger problem is, there has been something seriously wrong, even though the paper was very poor quality. Even then, 67 people at rank 1 reeks of something wrong. One example is, almost 7 aspirants are from a single center. That seems probabilistically very, very impossible. Again, NTS decided to keep silent. They do not have a political boss right now because there is a transition in the government that is going on. And I'm not sure any IS officer is going to come out, put his neck on the line and say, this is how it has happened. So there are a lot of questions which are unanswered. This is the second one, that how come from one center there are 7 kids scoring 720? And the final one, the grace mark thing, I'm going to tell you, for me it is amazing that NTA announces this on the day of the exam. And they initially did not announce. There was a lot of noise that how can you have 718 or 719 score. Then Manas from Times of India reported, he's the education correspondent there, and then NTA published a news release, which again is very, very scant of information. Every year it happens that on different exam centers, some kids, they get their paper late, with some kids their paper is taken early, something or the other happens. We have not heard of any grace mark till now. Our sense is grace mark has been awarded to a lot of aspirants, and again, it reeks of something wrong. So transparency is the order of the day, and that transparency is not available. That lack of information from NTA is deafening.
Okay, you're saying the lack of transparency is highly questionable, and there are multiple worrying discrepancies that certainly need to be addressed. Let me ask you this question. Of course, we are witnessing a transition of government here. It remains to be seen if the new government is going to address this concern. But do you see the matter reaching the courts by any chance?
It should. I mean, there are 2 problems. Kids today are suffering. If someone takes the extreme step, someone who needs to be held responsible for it. I have receipts are under extreme pressure, and this is not done. The second thing is, the future generation, you are scaring them off from a competitive exam. The impression that they are getting is beyond hard to be able to do well. It seems something is wrong, and NTA needs to very clearly address to how many people they have given the grace mark. How come so many people are sitting at the same center scoring 720? How come you prepare a paper in which on rank 1 at 720 mark there are 67? It just a shoddy job. Someone needs to lose their job because of this.
Job that somebody certainly needs to address. Thanks very much, Kapil, for sharing your perspective with us on what is clearly a very crucial issue for lakhs of aspirants. All right, the CBSE today has directed affiliated schools to accurately assess practical exams. Why, you may ask? Well, this comes after the CBSE found significant variations between theory and practical marks in certain subjects. The Education Board has issued an advisory to review internal assessment procedures to ensure a more robust and transparent process. In a notice released today, the CBSE said, "We have detected, through advanced AI tools, a significant variation between theory and practical marks in certain subjects amongst 50% or more students in about 500 CBSE-affiliated schools based on past years' result statistics." The board has added that this variance highlights a need for meticulous assessments during practical exams held in schools. Consequently, the board has issued an advisory to such schools to review their internal assessment procedures. The aim, they say, is to implement a more robust, transparent and reliable mechanism to ensure that the assessment process is realistic and adds substantial value to the students' academic journey. In recent years, mark inflation has emerged as a major issue. The pass percentage in those scoring above 90% in their class 10 and 12 board exams have increased in state boards as well. This has led to stiff competition for college admissions.